Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Tina and I am super excited to be here crafting with you today. I have been waiting to do this project. I've been waiting so long, it's like a reward for me now to get to this point. I've been using reward crafting for myself to get this. I don't know if you guys do that, but if you are like, oh, I get to do this if I get to do this. That's what this has been for me. I've been so inspired with this card, and I'll share if I'm not too excited to forget, I'll share some other versions that I've done at the end. But I was inspired by a video that I saw by Sam Calcott, and she saw it off of somebody on Pinterest. But I'm going to put the information down in the description. And I love the creative share community that we have. So thank you for inspiring me. And here it is. This is my little version of this frame flip out card. This is done with this dinosaur stamp I'm going to tell you about, and the Salt and Sea collection from Photoplay. And this is Dino Friends. I'll have all the information down in the description of this video. Okay, it says, hope your birthday is dynamite. I love these so much. There it is. Check that out. All right, I'm going to do it again from far, like, because when I'm up close so you can see the inside there, you can't even see how far it goes out. Look at that. Look at that. All the little footprints going on. There is so much going on now down here so you can see. So thoroughly impressive. Talk about a showstopper. All right, and then on the back, I created this little bit here, and then it folds out as well. And I have been making changes every time I make the card. I make some type of changes, but I've been making 2 of each one, and I love that. All right, I'm going to dive in because we have a lot to do, but I also want to share that since I was inspired by somebody who shared with me, I also wanted to do a share forward. So down in the description of this video, you will find a free Design Space link. It's all made with basic shapes, and there's even notes and everything in there to kind of help you through. And I will also go back and add this video information. You can just cut and paste it into a URL if you have trouble finding it back there, but you're on the video, so let's hope not. Ha ha ha. All right, let's dive in. But once again, let's take a look at that. How cute. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is we have a lot of pieces and I have a lot of things to go over. So I did some work ahead of time, and I've now put these together in 2 different ways. I've put them together with all the pieces flat and then putting all my pieces on it. And then I've put it together, like all put together. And because the card is so big and you can work around it, for some odd reason, I seem to like putting it together better after the card is together in case I have to make like little minor corrections or anything. Okay, I'm going to be giving the manual measurements for this project as well. So I have that in case you want to grab those. And the 2 big pieces are these. Now, I have changed a little bit about the card to work for me. And one of the things is you can also do this with just the pattern paper, but it takes a whole sheet of pattern paper. And I do have one with pattern paper. Let me show you. Hold on, I'm looking. Okay, so it takes a whole sheet when you do it. Here's another version that I did. So cute. They're all like, I love it. This one, I just used the pattern paper for this piece here. And if you use the pattern paper for this piece here, especially if you use 2-sided pattern paper, you can see that the inside there, that pattern's going to wrap around. So you have that as an option as well, and I suggest playing with them. And then your back would also have the pattern paper on it. And this one was just like this blue. This is from the Yeti for Winter collection. I loved making this too. So there is that as an option, but wanting to find a way to save some pattern paper to make more of them, I'm going to go ahead and create it with a solid base. All right, so this is 2 of these and 2 of these when I give the measurements out. Okay, so you're going to do this 2 times and we're just going to flip it. All right, so the first one, let's do this one here. This first piece here, and I have all the Salt and Sea collection, but I'll share that as we go because this is glimmer paper. Okay, so this is going to be 6.5 by 5. Okay, times 2. I'm going to flip this. Okay, now if you decide to use pattern paper, you will have to make sure that you're scoring it flip your score lines. Okay, if you're using the design space file, it's all been done for you. All right, you're going to score it 1/2 and 3 inches. Okay, 1/2 and 3 inches. And you'll do 2 of those. All right. And then you'll also need 2 of these base pieces as well. And this is where you want that 12 by 12 paper. All right, because this is going to be 11.5. All right, by 5, 11.5 by 5. And you're scoring at 6 and 8.5. 6 and 8.5. And you will need 2 of those. So for example, if you are going to make this out of just the pattern paper to cut down on your cuts, just after you make that, just flip it around and say, okay, I need to now do one this way, and just change your score lines. Okay, that's all you ever need to do cut specific. All right, and then what I did is I've worked my pieces. They need to be worked, especially if you're using high quality paper. I have some white, My Colors by Photoplay here. And then I'm using all the colors that are in the Salt and Sea cardstock collection. I'll put everything down in the description, along with my website information. This is glimmer paper, and that's included in the Salt and Sea collection, along with these other colors. All right, let's dive in now. All right, so after you have 2 of these cut, liquid glue along that big portion, that 6-inch portion. Glue, 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 glue. And I'm using a thick paper. I do suggest you use pretty decent paper. This card's going to get heavy, so you want really nice paper. I love Photoplay. All right, here we go. And now you're going to just glue 6 inches to 6 inches, and we want it as perfect as we could get it. I like to make sure my fold goes over and that I kind of push it like this. I don't want any trouble folding that. I laid that 6-inch on the top of the other one. And then I even like to fold it in here and just try to get, you know, with the liquid glue kind of helps just in case. And then there we go. So the 6-inch portion is glued to the 6-inch portion. There we go. Now you have this big thing with the 2 folds on the outside. The other thing I noticed really helped me is every time I am putting it together or working with it, I would just keep messing with my bone folder and my score lines. Okay, so now we have our, and I think it helps mechanism wise. All right, now we have that other piece. Now this piece gets glued to this end here with the 1/2 inch towards the center, and this piece is bigger than this section right here. So we're going to make sure we only put glue on our base piece, our back base piece. Okay, for me, that back base piece is the white. Okay. And once again, I really want to try to line it up as nicely as I can. So liquid glue will help us slide that into place. I'm going to look at it from this side, and then I'm going to flip it over. And if I have to make any slide, I'm really only using pressure at the very tip at this point. I haven't put any pressure anywhere else. And if I'm happy with it being nice and straight, I'm then going to kind of fold back and give that a rub. And if you want to take breaks in between and, you know, lay an acrylic block or a stamp pad or something on it, depending on the glue you're using, you definitely can. All right, so the 1/2 inch score line was to the inside. My 6 inches right here. I'm going over to the other side. And for this one, I'm going to flip it around, 1/2 inch score line to the inside. Once again, only putting glue on my back base piece, whatever that happens to be for you. This card is just unbelievably fun to make. But in one of my prior videos, I said something, so I'm going to say it again because I've been laughing about it. I am not here to help you save paper today. All right, so I have that same piece, and just right at the very top, sliding it into place and kind of just checking it and then flipping it over right away. That looks pretty good. And then just that fold line right there is where it is. And sometimes, you know, I've burnished my score line a little bit and these aren't perfectly straight. Give yourself some grace in your crafting. I mean, really, these cards are going to be so stunning that, you know, it's really no worries. Okay, so now we have this. You can kind of see it starting to come together for us. This is really, the whole mechanism portion is done except for the frame. Now, sometimes I do like to check it. I will have bigger gaps than other when I put them together, and I'll share a couple of tips on that, but I say you let it go. You just let it go every time. Okay, so now we're going to move on and, oh, let me grab my frame pieces. I have so many pieces. Okay, for the frame piece, it really does need stability. This has a lot of weight to it, and to get through this, you need some stability. So we're going to double up the frame. There's 2 in the file, but if you want to make this frame piece, this is throwaway paper. Throwaway paper to me is paper that I'm not going to craft with. I'm not going to use. It could be a leftover. If I had 1 sheet of photo play left in this pack and I'm like, I do not want to keep this. I really am trying to pare down. I want less. I want to buy less. I want to use what I have. I want to have fun using it up, and I want to feel good about the purchases that I've made. If I throw something to throwaway paper and I get a little more use out of it, then I'm happy. I do all of my original demos for my files and everything out of throwaway paper. I just call it throwaway paper, but I also buy throwaway paper. When those paper pads at the craft stores go on sale for $5, I buy the ones that are white backed. Most of my paper is 2-sided, and sometimes you just need white backed. So for this one here, I suggest if you have some scrap paper, see how you can see it? If that was flowers or like bright purples, I know people are laughing right now because I said purple, but I would not be happy. So I do like to always have some of white backed throwaway paper. This is going to give our frame some stability. So let's glue, glue, glue. And you could use cardstock. And then I want to give you the measurements for this frame. All right. So this is my inside piece, and I have my frame. I'm going to put it on here, and I can slide it in place by grabbing all of the areas. And then if it's a little over anywhere, I can just simply shave that off, but the back will be nice and white. There we go. And I do want this to be flat. I don't want any bubbles in it, so I'm going from the center out. Okay, there we go. I'm going to let that sit while I give you your measurements. Okay, so your frame is going to be 6 inches across by 5 inches down. And then all you're going to do it twice, is you're going to do a 3/4 of an inch gut all the way around. So for a gut, you would just take your cutter. Now for me, I can line mine up at the outside, so that's the way I line it up, but you would just line it up at 3/4. Drop your blade and slice it up only to the 3/4 mark. So you're dropping your blade at 3/4, you're slicing up to 3/4. You're rotating. You're going 3/4 of an inch out, and then 3/4 of an inch here, up to 3/4, and you're going to do that all the way around. That is your 3/4 of an inch gut. You'll do that with 2, and then you will end up with this. Okay, while this sits for a minute, I just want to share some little tidbits about this dino set. It's so cute. I can't stand it. All right, so I have been working with the dinos. One of the things I like to do is when I'm inspired with a stamp set, I like to write my ideas down. So I have the poolside card with the beach vibes. I know I want to do a column card with grass with another one, and I have some scrapbooking to do. I like to keep those, and if it's a set that I'm working with, I keep all my stuff in this little case with all my notes. So for example, I know that I colored my dinosaurs with my Spectrum Noir markers, and I used yellow green blend and citrus green blend in case I want to come back and do more. This has really helped me in the past. Now, I have tried all different kinds of coloring techniques on my dinosaurs, so they all look a little different. This one here, I actually, to get the grainy texture, which we normally don't want, I did dark to light. Alcohol markers are normally always light to dark, but when you go dark to light, you can get these really weird kind of grainy textures. So I went ahead and said, I'm going to experiment with that and see if I like it. And then I just kept coloring dinosaurs for these cards. And I had so much fun. I still have many, many more I have to color, but you can kind of see they're peeking out. And what I've done is for my reward crafting, I just kept working with this. Now my little footprints and my grass and rock pieces that I have here, wanted to share this with you. I used leftover zoo paper. If you have papers and they're just textured and stuff like that and they'll work with other things, move them, use them. This is the back of the stripes. I did my footprints with that. These actually have different kinds of paw prints on them, but you really can't see them. Here's one that's done. You can't make them out, but they have such beautiful textures. And they're so great. Okay, now I did want to mention one thing with the die. The stamp of this stamps 3 rocks with the grass, but the die cut only does 2. I'm wondering if maybe it was an error. I didn't mind so much because what I did was I used the thin cut to cut my little greens out. And then I fussy cut the 3 rocks out just using my scissors, and I glued them on the top so you can see it overhangs. Doesn't matter. They're so cute. Okay, so I did 5 of those for this card. I gave myself all the things. When it's time to dig for these little paw prints, you guys are probably going to be laughing at me. All right, so that was my coloring and everything, and I know this is a pretty intense project. All right, let's make sure our frame is facing the right direction. And anything you want to cut off, like if you want to shave, if you have some peekaboo paper, you can shave it off. If you wanted to do your frame, I guess, a little bit smaller, you could. I really haven't had many problems with it, so I'm good to go as is. All right, liquid glue only on the 1/2-inch score line. So just to get you some perspective, here's where, oh, that was close. Here's where we are. This is all the way out. We folded it back in. Okay, so now it's folded like this, just like this, and this is down. That's how I left it, and here's my 1/2-inch score line. All right. All right, we're going to take the frame, and we're only going to attach it to that little 1/2-inch line that's right there. And we want to try to get it pretty straight, so I'll look at it from the other side, paying attention to make sure it's not kind of sticking out the top there too. I'm not just looking here. I want to see if it's going a little bit sideways as it comes down. I've made, let's just say several. I've made a bunch of these at this point, and I really like them. Even when my frame has a little bubble or something, I'm like, it's all good. Okay, so now if the card was folded up with, here's the back 6-inch, you grab them and you fold those in. All right, we're going to bring this over. I do want to let it sit for just 1 minute. And so some time while that's going on, I'm going to get some of the pieces out that I plan on using. Okay. I'm using lots of pieces, so I'm just going to kind of grab a couple of little guys out. I like when they're all colored kind of different colors. Oh, I need the guy with the black eye. I need the little black eye one. Let's dig a little deeper there. You can tell I have big plans. I'm working on so many of these. All right, and I'm going to need lots of footprints that are down in the bottom. And some leaves. There we go. Just kind of shift that. I love the little footprints in the sand. I just thought that was so cute. I'm going to need one of these party like there's no tomorrow, so I'm just going to grab that right now too and start my little pile. All right, let's go ahead and go to the other side of this. I'm going to just hold this back, and here's the 1/2-inch. 1/2-inch, here we go. This is all there is. It's okay, I slapped it down. I didn't mean to, but I did. All right, I'm slapping it down. And now what I want to do though is I kind of want to line it up as well, but I want my card to be flat. So I've lined it up, but I'm using the weight of my hand to make it nice and flat. There we go. And if it's sticking over a little bit or whatever, and you want to trim that, trim after you get all your pieces on, because you might end up trimming an area where you're like, oh no, I would have just let that go. All right, here we go. Okay, so now let's go on to the pre-work that I've done. All right. You are going to make the card as I have here, which you can see I have these inside pieces. I have the pieces next to the frame on the front. And I also have the back pieces done. Now you can do as many or as little pieces as you would like. If you use pattern paper, I'll show you another one. I have one that was one of my first creations here, and there were no pieces on the back. I just had pattern paper, and that just looked way too plain for me. This was kind of one of my first demos, and when it was done, I just keep growing. I learned on this one, I don't like things hanging over my frame because I did this adorable zoo theme on the inside here, but when the things hang over on my frame, it really hides a lot of what's inside. So I like a clean frame. That's something I learned. I like to put like little stripes on my card. So you'll see I do a lot of that, and I've just been adding more and more. All right, so now we have it. You're going to need to do it the way I have right here. 3 sets of 2 1/4 that finish 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. All your pieces are going to finish at 4 3/4 for this, but my pieces are upside down, just so you know. 2 1/4 by 4 3/4. That's going to be 3 sets if you're doing the inside the way I have it. And I have different papers, but I have to tell you guys, even if your mats didn't match and you just put colors all over it, it's going to look beautiful. Okay, and then 2 pieces or 1 set, and these finish at, I want to make sure I get it, 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. Now when I say they finish, the back mat, that's the finished side of the back mat. I'm using all of the papers from the Salt and Sea collection with the Salt and Sea papers. All right, so I have 1/4 inch smaller, so all of my cuts are 4 1/2 by 1/4 inch smaller, so 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and then my mat piece would be 3 by 4 1/2. All right, they all just finish, but you might not want to layer them. You might just want to go with the one. Okay, and then 1 set as well, 2 or 1 set, 2 3/4, 4 3/4, 2 3/4, 4 3/4. All right, so like I said, I've added a lot of cuts here. The more I do it, the more I'm just going to add. All right, and I'm going to put some information down in the description as well, so you can check there for additional cut information to be available. All right, and then I want to give another measurement. This one here is going to finish at 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And once again, I did that 1/4 inch. This is the first card I've done where I've used a light pattern. Mostly I've been, using, oh no, wait, I did another one, I lied. Okay, and then for the inside piece, this is where I have my dinosaurs back here. All right, that inside piece finishes at 4 3/4, or sorry, 5 3/4, 5 3/4 across by 4 3/4 down. And same thing on the back, 5 3/4, 4 3/4. Now, do I have lots more cuts on there? You bet I do. All right, I'll go over those as we go. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this card together. I love this so much, and I have some more I want to share with you. And I knew this is going to be a little bit longer of a video, so thanks for hanging in. Could you imagine if I had to color everything? Let me get the big pink gun out, okay, because I have a lot here. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip all of these over on this side of my craft area. All right, make it tight if I can. Oh, I don't even know if that's going to be enough room. I'm going to put that back over to the side. I'm going to sweep these over because I am going to need to lay the card out. All right, let's just go ahead and, because it's going to save some time doing all this at one time. I'm not going to worry about the edges too much because I'm doing 3 rounds, but if you ever have that where you have a little gap, I use a precision tip with my liquid glue, and I love that you can kind of get in there with that real easily. Okay, so I have been having so much fun coloring these dinosaurs and prepping for my projects. I have a lot going on and a lot of projects coming out. We're celebrating Christmas in July. And this has become my reward crafting. I think they are so cute that I just kind of get to reward myself every time I get something done. Okay, now what I'm going to do is they're going to fit in different ways. I did want to make a change on my card, so I'm going to kind of like flip this, and you can see your biggest piece goes here. I'm just moving that over there. So this is my big piece. I kept that the same. There we go. All right, sliding that up there, and I'm going to just kind of flip it over. I'm turning it upside down, but if your paper, this one is not, but if your paper is directionally, you might just pay attention to that. I put pieces upside down on one of them when I was making it late one night. It happens, right? The struggle is real. Okay, and then these ones here, I'm going to put right here. And this is where if you decide you want to do it flat, you can before you put the card together. But I just feel like by the time you're flipping the card, again and again and again and pressing it down, it's really all good. Like if you wanted this part to be flat, you just got to keep moving your card around. I think this might be the one that does. There's only one that doesn't go flat, but you can see here I'm not having any issues. And then I just like to it helps me to just keep moving the score lines. I feel like it makes it so that the card moves better. All right, so on the back, I'm now swapping this out. I want to show you. I'm swapping the back out for the ice cream to be on the edge of this one instead of this pink. I had the ice cream on the inside of this one, but I wanted them on the back of this one because I love ice cream, like a lot, guys. And another thing you can do is if you're working with papers, move your paper. So your bigger cuts, this is 2 inches of pattern if you use it this way. Just keep moving your cuts. Okay, for the inside, even that back piece, we're going to finish that. I decided to put the pink in here. So for this one, I'm at a point where I'm just super comfortable flipping these cards around, and I think it actually helps them, as I was saying. So I just kind of look in from the sides, put it down. I already like that one better on the inside than my ice cream, and have my ice cream on the back. I'm going to get some ice cream after this video. And then make sure your frame is your match. There you go. Okay. And I've even added pieces. I may have more pieces on this than are in the file at this point because I can't help myself. I just keep adding. Like all the little stripe pieces and stuff aren't in the Design Space file. Okay, are you ready? Shazam. There it is. You have all your side pieces on. It's already working. Look at that. Good to go. Okay, let's tackle a little bit more of this. This is a doozy of a project. Doozy. Technical term. Okay, I'm going to do the back of the card first. I have a little bit of stamping to do for that. So my original back of my card I stamped with this happy birthday, let the adventure begin. And I liked the happy birthday. I got it off of this set that I have underused. This was an expensive set from close to my heart, and I thoroughly underused it. Shop your stash. Shop your stash before you just buy. All right. Okay, so I have a piece of white scrap here, and I have my Misty. All right, let's just roll my stamp a little bit. This is a big one, so instead of just seasoning it. And this is some Snowbound, which the Snowbound is textured. So I don't want to stamp on the textured side. I'm going to stamp on the back of my textured paper. I'm going to just get a nice straight edge to go into my Misty because I'm just going to be using the edge for that. All right, and I thought the black was a little bit harsh. Also, if you unstick it, you'll get less lift. Okay. I'm going to trim it. I'm actually okay if it's a little bit crooked. And I'm going to cut this bottom portion off, so it's going to be fine. All right, there we go. And I thought I like the black here. I like the little pops of black because even my dinosaurs are black. They're stamped black and then they're colored in. And so, I was like, oh, what do I do? So I did think about using one of the new Hero Arts ombre that I got, but I was like, I don't know, and I might have to double stamp. So I thought, oh, do I want to dive in? And then I saw the diagonal striping and all that, and I thought, no, I want to do something a little more basic. And I have this teal that's back here. So up here, there's green. There were so many colors that I literally couldn't decide. And then I thought the only thing that I could use would be a little pop of yellow. So I grabbed my saffron and I'm going to use that. I'm still back and forth. Part of me was like, maybe I should use paprika or, but we're going to go with the saffron and hope that I like it enough. I think yellow is used the least back here. Okay, and I'm going to be able to stamp it a couple of times. Here we go. I'm going to stamp it twice, and then I'm going to selectively re-ink. So I've stamped it twice, and I can see the H and up at the top. So I'm just going to kind of rub that and then tap it instead of doing the whole thing. You don't always have to re-ink your whole stamp. You can just do sections. It's good for me. All right, we'll see how that looks when it dries and cures into that paper a little bit. All right, we'll take this out. I don't know where my sheet is to protect this. I don't know where my throwaway paper is. Okay, for the video purposes, let's see if I can just find anything. All right, here we go. Just because I'm not going to clean that right now. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to put this over and just let that dry a little bit. And I have my other pieces here. Okay. Let's grab my stamp mat. And I'm mixing a little something here. This is the Salt and Sea stamp set, and it was included in my scrapbook workshop. So many have it, and I'm going to be using this in 2 different ways. I had it next to me, but now I just have so many cards next to me, and there's so many things next to me. I'm getting it, everybody. Here it is here. And it has a lot of great ones, but it has Let the Adventure Begin, and it also has Good Times Ahead, and I think those are really cute to add to birthday cards. So I already have the Let the Adventure Begin, and I'm going to be stamping that in black. Just going to grab my Versa for that. It's my favorite black ink. Okay, just going to stamp it right here. And this is the pink shelled paper. Well, it's not just shelled. Pink multi that's in the Salt and Sea collection. There we go. And while I have this out, I'm going to do a little bit of other stamping. Okay, I have a thin cut that does these little, they could be hills or snow or whatever, and I've been using it a lot lately. Here it is here. And this is the same sand texture I did on my workshop, and I also have a larger one inside. But for this is about 1 inch, or this is about 1 inch. You can literally just fussy cut a hill. It's just I happen to have one. Now the one for the inside, you guys have already seen because I snuck it in the video, because it is attached with the adhesive on it to my flap for this. This one here, the high hill is all I'm going to give, because you guys will have it all the way across, is not quite 1 3/4. It's a little less than 1 3/4, and one of those. And now to get this kind of sand texture, these 2 are the only papers that are not in the Salt and Sea collection. Those are out of my scraps. It's old toffee. I have a little bit left. I'm using toffee on toffee. I'm going to grab that little paper that I had. And this is the arrow that is in the stamp set. And I'm going to put it on my ink pad so that it is not getting the pointed part. It's just getting that flat arrow, or the flat line part. Okay, and then I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do it again. And I rotated the way I was doing it. So on different angles. And you want to do it a few times so you get different color variations from the first, second, third, fifth, however many times you're stamping generations there. If you want it darker in some areas, just make it a little darker. This is a great way to take a textured stamp and get a little more out of it. And then here's what it looked like. And it's going to dry a little bit more. And you can see it really does add super cute sand look. All right, so I already did the one for the inside. It's a big project we got going on tonight. All right, big project. This video is actually posting during the day, so big project for you guys today. All right, I'm going to put that aside as well. And I am just working with pieces. All right, my finished piece for this was the 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. I have then added 1/4 of an inch smaller in the mandarin. That back piece is the daffodil mini dot, all part of the Salt and Sea cardstock pack. This is the mandarin mini dot canvas, love it. And this is the water paper. Now this is one of the reasons why I knew I'm going to make more of these. I love them. I think they are absolutely adorable, but you only get 2 sheets of this paper. So I would only have gotten 2 cards. And I got a whole pack of paper just to make cards for this. I cut these out. And then I went back and recut. After I cut the whole card out, I was like, oh no, that's not going to work for me. I'll only get 2. I then went back and added it, and I cut this out of these big back pieces just so I could get more. And then that one is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. And just look at those layers. Oh, I didn't want to put that on yet. Well, I like to trim my strips off is what it is. I didn't rub it down, so we should be okay. Canvas was nice to me. All right, a couple of these we've got to do. All right, so I have my water or my sand. That's going right at the bottom, and I will trim that off. And now I also have, let me see if I can, do you see at the top there where I have that little, it's kind of like sunshine almost. I'm adding that. And this is just a 1/2 inch strip off of my scraps. And I really liked the look of that to break that water up. There it is there. And then this little guy here, this is a 1/4 of an inch strip in the diagonal. One of the things that I really wanted to do was make sure that papers that brought in the entire color collection, that I used them wisely. So this is literally here just to bring in all of the colors. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I lied. This is the inside. I'm not going to put it on. That's my inside. I'm looking for my outside. Did I hide it? I hid it from myself, guys. Hid the outside from myself. So many pieces, you guys. So many pieces. All right, I'm going to move this over. This is just going to dry before I pull it out. So for the outside one, same thing. 5 3/4, 4 3/4. 1/4 of an inch smaller. Normally I use the smaller runners for these projects, but this takes so much adhesive and it is worth it. I did it. All right, now where is my white piece? Okay. And then we have 4 1/4 or 5 1/4, 4 1/4. And I'm going to add some stripes to this too. I just really like adding the stripes to it. Now this one here, I brought some palm trees in and I really like that. And I realized I don't have my palm tree pieces next to me. I'm missing a few pieces. We're going to have to make some quick cuts. Okay. You know, if I've only forgotten 1 or 2 cuts, I'm going to definitely give myself some grace because boy, oh boy, are there a bazillion cuts over here. All right, let's see if this piece is long enough. Yeah, that's going to do me nicely. Okay, and then I have this here, and these are about 3/4. And I liked putting those on the top and the bottom there. It is the only place I used the palm trees was on the frame. But that might change when I change my frame. Just keep using your pieces. You know, pull out your biggest pieces, use those, and then work your way through. But if you are looking to use up some paper packs, oh, this is going to be beautiful. I have worked through multiple paper packs over here and just making these cards, and I'm loving it. All right, palm trees. And my sizes can be different, and I'm okay with that. I just like that it brought kind of everything in. Let's cut this one down. 1/4 of an inch. And if you have like, I had to clean up for the video, but if you have the little pieces that are your cutoffs that you have, and you just keep them next to you, use those. You don't have to have, you know, all the same pieces that I have. Just keep using your throw off pieces and they're going to be wonderful. Like this is a 1/2 inch, and on the original one, I think I have 3/4 on this one over here. And this is the beach grass mini dot, also part of the cardstock pack. You get 8 sheets, 2 of the beach grass, which is mini dots. I love that they give you glimmer, mini dots, canvas, all in that pack. Just, you know, it's so much more value. But you're going to get 2 beach grass, two beach grass mini dot, 2 daffodil mini dot, 2 mandarin canvas, and 2 of the most gorgeous glimmer paper. It's called tropical, it's tropical something. It's beautiful. It's the blue. Okay. I'm going to just cut this off camera so I can drop it on my floor and play Craft Room Barbershop. I'll sweep it up later. All right, here we go. Getting it all done. All right. I might have to do a shorter video for this card as well. This one is so long. All right, here we go. But it has all the things, right? Okay, I'm grabbing my happy birthday and my other pieces that were off. And the first thing I want to do is cut that. I do like that. I like that happy birthday color. I think that worked out nicely. All right, I'm doing a tight cut on that. So I don't need to measure it. Just cut it whatever fits your sentiment. I did want a little bit bigger of a sentiment because this card can handle it. There we go. And now I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on this. And I'm going to move it over here. Not even going to measure this. I'm going to just go old school. Here we go. I've always done this because I've hated measuring forever. There we go. So what I do is I use the edge of, the plastic as my marker to try to like just have something, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. This one I'm going to do a little bit of a border around it. Okay. That one is a little bit bigger. It might be too big. Let me go in here and just hand cut this down a little bit. It doesn't matter if it's straight either. I've been doing a lot of cut words and sentiments, and I don't care if they're straight. They kind of have a nice look to them when they're not. And I don't think this is a fancy finished card. This is fun. The dinosaurs make it fun. All right, I'm just going to grab some paper, a piece of scrap paper out of my white stash here. I have a little basket that just has a bunch of different white papers. I make thin cuts out of them all the time. I do that. All right, I'm just going to cut 3 little strips. And I know that these are smaller than my sentiment that I have right there. All right. I need this to be a little thicker. They don't even have to go all the way to the end. Notice that. There we go. There you go. Nice and thickened up. Okay, so for this, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over. Oh, it worked out. Look, I have a tiny bit of a border on each one. I'm going to put this far over to the left so I can fit my little dinosaur. I should have put all the foam tape on my little guys. That would have saved some time. There we go. All right, let's get some foam tape out. We're going to need it. All right, I'm even putting this on now before I attach it. Normally, I would attach first, but maybe I will. Let's grab some. I have some leftover foam tape that's down here on my craft mat. All right, there we go. You know, this is one of those cards that I really, really enjoyed making. I don't think I will make all of them to this degree, though, of course. You know, this is just way over the top. I'm super inspired by this dinosaur collection, and I loved working with the Salton Sea as well, as I've already made multiple projects with it. So beautiful together. All right, that's the back. Let's add these little things. But when you make a card this far over the top, it's just gonna it's gonna be time, right? I've already done a lot of coloring and thin cutting, and so more time went into it. But you want to know what? It wasn't a hardship. It was relaxing. It was fun, and watching it come together made me so happy. All right. So what I want to do is I want that dinosaur to kind of cross over. I actually have a little bit of room. I don't need to go as far as I've went over. See if I can peel or not. To peel or not to peel. All right. There we go. Let's move that way a little bit more for some better spacing. There we go. So he's kind of like on the sign. There we go. Okay. Apparently, I still needed more, right? So I had to add this little "Let the Adventure Begin." And I put that down here. Push that up just a little bit. And then I needed to add the footprints. I'm slightly obsessed with my footprints, the dinosaur footprints, which you know I would have to be, because you really got to want these footprints, this card, to go all in on these footprints. I'm nervous I don't even have enough footprints to finish my inside panel. If it happens, it happens. All right, I'm going to put one here and then just move up a little bit and put one here. You can also put them down, but you know, they're not next to each other. Okay. They're so cute. I can't stand it. This one was supposed to have the other footprint because I'm trying to equally use my footprints, but you know, it happens. I'm going through them so fast. The footprints so fast. All right, let's pop on over, let that sit. This is really turning out cute. I would like to know if you like the bold black or you like the other color. I love to make little changes to my cards each time I make them. So I'd love to know if you have a preference on which one you like or what color you would have liked to put there with this collection. Color combinations are something that I probably talk all day about. I love color and color combinations and how small things make such a big difference. Okay, I'm going to grab that piece. And now I can comfortably put this on top. Here we go. We're in the home stretch now. All right, flip this over so you can kind of see what's going on with the inside. I mean, we have a little bit more to do. You can see here I have the two dinosaurs. I have lots of things. I'm going to be making it similar to what I have right here. Okay, so I have this Party Like There's No Tomorrow, and I'm just going to hand trim it straight as I can. That's it. There we go. And I know that's going on here. I need to do some foam tape. I'm going to go ahead and put foam tape on all three of my dinosaurs because I did use foam tape. Now, as a whole, I think this card does do better if this stuff is flat on the inside, but I couldn't resist. I had to put these on foam tape. I'm like, special envelopes. So far, they have fit in 5x7 envelopes. The ones I've given have all fit in the 5x7 envelopes. I've only given a couple. I've only given a couple. And 5x7 envelopes. But you can always do, you know, a slightly larger. Okay. I feel like I need one more piece. I know this is going to get a good bit of pressure right there. Okay, so now I have my dinosaurs, and they're going to be going here and here. And I'm just kind of laying this out. And I'm going to put this one down. I have one set of the rocks with that grass right there on the edge. And here, they're in a little bit more than I have them here. So I might, there you go. I might move, let me add a little bit more glow. There we go. Just have it in just a little bit more. There they are. Okay, and down at the bottom, I have two of these little guys right there. And they're kind of overlapping. So since I have my dinosaurs somewhat positioned, I can know that, you know, where it's going to be at least safe to put these. This one's going to overlap that one. Just layering some pieces. There's so much dimension and textures. Okay, dinosaur number one. I love how all the dinosaurs are just colored in different ways too, making each one its own little unique thing. I had a lot of fun working on the different coloring techniques. I really did. Okay, I want to make sure that when I put this down, that my dinosaur is turned in a way that it's not going to block the party like there's no tomorrow. So, you know, it can, because of the foam tape, it can go in front of that little piece. There we go. I can just hold this here and say, yep, that's going to work. And then I have one bigger than the other, so I'll put this in. I want to make sure that the P, like the white is tucked under, but the P is good to go. I want to see the whole P. Party like there's no tomorrow. All right, which is kind of funny because dinosaurs didn't have a tomorrow. So there's a pun irony as well. The card has all the things. All right, and this one's going to go on this side now. The top of the hill. There we go. I like this one's a little higher than my last one. You can see they're super cute. Okay, then we put the crazy on. All right, I have two sets of footprints on each side. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I hope I'm going to have two sets of footprints. If not, I'm going to have to add other footprints. I've been going through the footprints, so hopefully I have them. There we go. I actually need to lift that. It needs to be, it's just a little too far in front. There we go. All right, I see three of them. I have three. And I have some that are upside down. All right, nice. So worth it. I know right now somebody has to be like, oh, that's crazy. It's not worth it. You know, it's worth it if you're inspired enough to do it. And I certainly am. And I'm going right back to doing some reward crafting with this and making more footprints. But can we just look at it? Look at the detail. It's so adorable. All right, now we have two different kinds of footprints, and I meant to switch them. I actually was going to switch my two footprints this time, but I guess I got so excited I couldn't do it. All right, so the other set of footprints on this side. And you don't even have to do four, you know. If you want to do less, do less. If you're like, that's the next level crazy, I don't think I'm going to do it. You can just enjoy watching my crazy. Here we go. Oh, left too big of a gap on this one. Placing that second one twice now has been a little bit. I think it's because the first one's not where it's supposed to be. I did work on spacing this out. So before it dries, I'm just going to move them. There we go. And one more right there. So cute. They're so cute. Okay, I want to show you the inside before I put it in. Look at how cute this is. Okay, so now here's something that is fun. You could also make this the front of the card if you wanted to and you really like this. This is so cute. This could also be the front of a card, so you could make multiples of these. I'm going to let that dry for a minute so we can focus on the little front of this card. This here, nope, we're not done. I know you're like, oh my gosh, what? It's true. Okay, I wanted to share a little tip in case you decide to put one that is going to be cut in half. Here it is. Don't hide. Don't hide the half mark. You want people to go, wait, what's happening here? So don't hide it. On this one, what I like to do is I like to take a very small amount of adhesive and attach it to this piece. Make the piece, for example, I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive down and kind of just show you with like a fake piece. There we go. And if I was going to be cutting this dinosaur in half, like say, okay, let me get one that's colored so it makes more sense. Okay, say when I did my little thing, I knew that this was going to be in the center, but I want it on foam tape. You're going to put a tiny bit of adhesive on it, put it where it is, and then when it comes time to cut this, you're going to cut it just like this, nice and flat, 2 1/8 after they're both back together. So the two mats are on top of each other. Your ending piece is 4 1/4. You'll slice it at 2 1/8. Then pick it off, add your foam tape, and attach them to each side. It will give you a much better look, and it also, you want them cut in half. I did another one with the sentiment cut in half, this one here. And I mean, you want it. You want that cut in half so that they know there's something special about to happen. Okay, so for this one here, though, my stuff is actually, I think this is the only one that I haven't had to cut something in half. All right, so 2 1/8 is where the halfway mark is. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it at the 2 1/8. Oh, I wanted to have my bottom piece on there, and I didn't because I have them together. Let me cut my sand piece. Oh, because I hid it. All right, so for my sand piece, because I've already cut it and it needs to be perfect, right? I'm going to go ahead, and I know that I need this to finish at 4. So I'm just going to cut, line it up as straight as I can. And I'm going to do 2 1/8 on the flat side and 2 1/8. Oh, wait, I lied. It's the inside. It's 2. Oh, they're not going to match now. Things happen. Okay, so we're going to do 2 and then 2. But just put it on next time. Don't make my mistake. Attach it before you cut it in half. A little bit of glue. And I'm lining it up in case I have to trim it so I can trim it at the center. There we go. Crisis diverted. I just love the sand and everything. Okay, so for this one here, I just have my stamp on here, and this says, hope your birthday is dynamite. And I just have like the little leaves and stuff going on this side, so I don't have a lot. So I'm just going to hope that I do okay. Fingers crossed, right? Whoa, not on that. That acrylic block definitely hit my Versamark. There we go. My VersaFine ink. All right, this is going to go right here. Down. Just going to give it a minute, a little bit of pressure. because I don't have a stamping surface underneath of it. Looks great. I'll take it. I'll take that all day. Okay, so now I'm going to finish this off. I have this cute little dinosaur that's going to go on this side. And on this side here, I have some leaves. And I even cut my leaves out of scraps of this glimmer paper that I had. I had a whole bunch of scraps, tiny scraps of glimmer paper after I did a Cricut cut for a project. And I said, I'm going to cut those leaves out of that. So I have a lot of scraps going on here from different collections. You don't need to have them, but see what you have. Check and see what you have. I think that's the real, like the real magic is when we're using our stuff. You know, it's great to buy stuff and make, you know, a project, or, I mean, some of us, we buy stuff and we never craft with it, and that's very sad. So this is doing things like this is so great, because really you can look at what you have and maybe get some value out of some stuff. All right, the second one is on foam tape. Love the dimension. I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves. I'm doing one leaf kind of turned to the outside. And the same leaf, I did not do reverse stamping or anything. I just did all of them the way that, just the front facing way that they are. I'm just doing an angle here. Turning the angle. There it is. So cute. All right, let's get our little guy going here. Okay. I'm checking the time on the video right now. Oh my gosh, it's an hour long, and I did pre-work. I did so much pre-work. It makes you know that I really, really loved this card. For those of you who fast forwarded to the end, I understand. All right, this guy's going to go on here. I want it to be a little over to the center. I already did some spacing, so I know that. And you guessed it, I need more of the footprints. So I'm going to do two footprints right here. Oh no, is this because I left it off? My glue wants to either be used or be left alone. I have a little bit more glue than I want for this second one. It's just, there we go. I feel like that glue might give me a little bit of a problem there. Okay, there we go. All right, let's put the inside in. That one's nice and dry. It's one of those things like, is it worth it? Yes. It really is. All right, here we go. Let's add our gorgeous inside on our card and play with it before you mail it or before you send it. You know, give it a little bit of love. Okay, I'm just going to slide it down here. And, you know, this is one of those things where you'll have to decide, before or after. I don't know why I like doing them after. I just do. There we go. And I just like to close it up and give it a little press and flip it and another press. And I feel like it's just helping me work score lines. Okay, for our front pieces, I'm going to use liquid glue. I have found that that works the best for me. I know that that glue right there is going to ooze out. So let me just kind of get some of that off. There we go. All right, we're going to line this up at the center, leaving 1/8 of an inch at the top, the bottom, and the side. And I even like to, before I press it down, I kind of just give it like a little peek like that in case I have to slide it over. And you can slide it over a tiny bit more over the line, but not too much. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this one. Oh, I'm just so happy with the way this card turned out. So this is a card that I designed in my head. I didn't work through it. I kind of just said, I really want to make this dinosaur card. I had even been talking about it with people, how excited I was. So then it's one of those, when you make it, you have to hope that it's going to turn out as nice as you want it to be. And I was so happy with it. All right, let's grab some of our gorgeous gems. All right, I have these beautiful coral ones. These are leftovers. I love this corally orange. Is so pretty. So I have little strips left over. And our gems are amazing. They're soft bevel. They're so good. And we do put them on the website for sale, but by colors. So I may have to offer coral, you know, just colors at a time, because I have so many for my in-person events. So many different colors. Okay. That's got glue on it. Let's put that over here. There we go. It's going to end up on my hand. Right, and I'm adding a medium and 2 small, and then I'm going to add another medium and a small over here. They are the perfect little touch. Oh, I like these so much. They are just beautiful. They pick up they're just perfect. And a huge pack is, you know, $1. That's why they've become so popular with us in the group, is because they're amazing. All right, I feel like the one by my dynamite, I wish was over just a tiny bit more, but there we go. We are done. All right, here's the second one. Hope your birthday is dynamite. Here it is. It's so cute. Really hope that the detail of this card has just, you know, come through on this video. I'm so happy with it. This is the Salt and Sea collection with this dinosaur stamp. It's so cute. Little bit of room right down here to sign my name. I'm not going to be putting anything else, but I feel like this is a card somebody's doing this with. Like, this is a decoration. And what you can do is, like, you'll notice this one here is just a little bit stiff. I work it. That's why I just keep working them. I worked this a little bit less. I just kind of play with every portion of it, and then it becomes, like, you can see that one has a little more lift. It's because I haven't worked it as much. There it is. Where's this one? This one's all kinds of, like, ready to go and beautiful and worked. Oh, guys, I really hope you like this project. If you have any questions, feel free to just leave me a comment. I'll make sure to get back with you. Check the description of this video for any type of measurements you need, product information, the link for the design space file, and all those things. I have had so much fun crafting this with you. This has actually made my night, and I'm so excited to share this week. This one here was also my Cricut class last week. They learned how to leave guide notes and everything with this project, and they made the Yetis, and it just keeps giving. And I already know 2 of them are already remaking these cards, so that's super exciting. Thank you guys so much for letting me share all of this time with you. This has been a very long video, so thank you so much for that. Thank you to everyone in the craft community who inspires me to create and fuels my crafty soul. That makes me feel so good. If you found this video useful, if you liked it, if you're a design space crafter, you like the file, anything, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to have so many more projects coming out. It really does help me here in the YouTube community, and it inspires me to keep going. I am always so grateful for all the support that I have. Thank you guys so much, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.